Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Robert Mitchell, members of City Council, honored guests, and fellow Charlestonians. Good evening. 2 weeks ago, I was honored to be sworn in once again as our city's mayor. On that day, I spoke of the work we have done over the past 4 years to address the four most critical issues facing our city and our citizens: flooding and drainage, traffic and transportation, affordable housing, and public safety. And tonight, I'd like to share with you some of our plans for the future on each of these essential priorities, and just some of the work that's already underway. But first, I want to take a moment to recognize my colleagues in city leadership, the outstanding members of this city council, who serve our citizens with diligence and distinction. These are men and now women who work for our citizens not just when we work on Tuesday nights, but every day and night of the year to ensure that every resident and every area of our city receives the representation it needs and deserves. So I'd like to ask you to join me in recognizing their efforts and thanking them for their service. City Council, thank you. Make no little plans, the great city architect Daniel Burnham once said, for they have no magic to stir men's blood and probably will not be themselves realized. Make no little plans. As the inheritors of a long and rich history dating back 350 years, yes, y'all, it's Charleston's 350th birthday. We Charlestonians feel the truth of those words right to our bones. We know that little plans did not raise this great city on the banks of the Ashley and Cooper rivers. We know that little plans did not create the extraordinary works of art and culture and architecture that surround us and inspire us every day. And we know that little plans will not suffice to address the challenges that lie before us, challenges that are deeply rooted in the very history that brought us to this moment. That's why I'm pleased to be able to report tonight that our plans to address these challenges, flooding and drainage, traffic and transportation, affordable housing and public safety, are not little. In fact, they are the largest and most comprehensive plans in our city's history. First, our city's top priority, and perhaps its oldest challenge, flooding. And here our plans are nothing less than transformative, with major infrastructure projects, tough new rules for development, and thanks to what we learned in the Dutch dialogues process, a fundamentally new and different mindset for managing and living with water. In terms of infrastructure, our focus is both large and small, with construction underway already to raise the Low Battery, massive underground drainage systems like Spring Fishburne and connecting Market Street currently being built, and smaller but highly effective neighborhood projects such as Forest Acres Phase 2, Rivers Point Row, and many others throughout the city. In addition, we're working closely with the Army Corps of Engineers on a plan to provide the kind of large-scale barrier protections that will be necessary to protect our city as climate change continues to raise sea levels and create even more extreme weather. But that's just one part of our strategy. Just as important, we're completely changing the way we do business here in Charleston with new citywide stormwater standards that ensure improvements to our drainage capacity will be made. And a revision of our comprehensive plan this year that will use the concepts of the Dutch dialogues to shape land use, zoning, and citywide planning policies. To that end, we're already buying out properties that should never have been built in the first place and helping to elevate others. In addition, we're engaging our citizens to action, from starting rain gardens to installing rain barrels to helping monitor our storm drains. Every drop counts, And in the end, we're simply going to have to stop fighting water all the time and learn to make room for it instead. With better planning, more responsible development, full citizen engagement, and a built environment that turns anti-flooding projects into public amenities that make our city even more beautiful and livable. We're all in this boat together. And to be clear, by all, I mean not just our citizens, but everyone who loves Charleston, including the millions of people who visit our city every year. That's why we'll be meeting with state officials in the coming months to discuss changes in state law that will allow all of our visitors, including hotel guests and cruise ship passengers, to help fund flooding solutions. A responsible, reasonable extension of home rule that would benefit not just Charleston, but the whole state of South Carolina. Next, traffic and transportation. A challenge that grows out of both our geography, which tends to create choke points, particularly near waterways, and our history, which has allowed development and transportation improvements to get fundamentally out of sync. Working with our regional partners, we've committed to a three-part strategy to deliver real traffic relief to our citizens over time. More and better roads, more and better options for alternatives like biking and walking, and more and better public transit, first from Somerville to the peninsula and afterwards to other parts of our city. With regards to roads, we've revived the I-526 completion, secured land for the north and south pitchforks on Johns Island. We're working to increase capacity on Glenn McConnell Parkway and at busy choke points such as Main Road and US 17, Courtney and Calhoun, and Maybank and River Roads. In terms of alternatives, we passed the People Pedal Plan to create a more walkable and bikeable city, secured financing for the bike ped bridge linking the peninsula to West Ashley, and purchased the site that will become the Low Line, a spectacular linear park running up the spine of the city from Marion Square up to Mount Pleasant Street. And on public transit, we're partnering with CARTA and the Council of Governments to help create Low Country Rapid Transit, the area's first truly ambitious plan to move large numbers of people across the region comfortably and conveniently with speed, convenience, and reliability that our commuters want and need. Third, affordable housing, another challenge that has roots that goes back generations, and another area where our plan is sized to meet the issue head-on. For example, on the peninsula of Charleston and underway this year are Grace Homes with 62 units, the James Lewis Jr. Apartments coming with 64 units, 573 Meeting Street with 70 apartments for those transitioning from homelessness. In West Ashley, Bulls Creek, moving forward with 72 units and Waters at West Ashley and first-time home buyers' homes as well. Looking forward, the city is already working on new affordable housing on Johns Island and Cainhoy and has a plan in place to ensure Bridgeview remains affordable for many years to come. In addition, we continue efforts to cut red tape and expedite approval for affordable housing, utilize new funding sources, and work with new partners. Altogether, our efforts will produce more than 1,000 units of new affordable housing right here in the city of Charleston for school teachers, bus drivers, hospitality workers, and more. Finally, public safety, where our police department is working to make our city even stronger and safer by helping to right the wrongs that have impeded our progress for too long. Last year, under the leadership of our outstanding Police Chief Luther Reynolds and with the full support of this council, the Charleston Police Department embraced a racial bias audit by one of the leading firms in our country, and the action plan coming out of that process is detailed and far-reaching with 48 specific findings and recommendations to make our citizens safer and our policing more just. From traffic stops to use of force to new guidelines, training, and more, These reforms will help our police department build the strong relationships and deep sense of trust that's so critical to successful community policing and public safety. I want to salute our police department, and just as important, though, our citizens for the literally thousands of hours they've already put into this process and for their commitment to ensuring that all of these reforms are made in full and in a timely fashion. And so tonight, in closing, with these far-reaching plans firmly in place and already moving forward, I'm proud to report to you this evening that the state of our city, in its 350th year, is positive and united and ready to make real progress on our city's greatest challenges together. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless this great city of Charleston. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Well, God bless. Thank you very much. And y'all, we were all spared this year because